All right, guys, top of the morning. Happy April 16th. Wishing you guys all a very happy Passover, early Easter, whatever you choose to do this weekend, whatever you celebrate, whatever you guys are getting into over the next couple days and into the weekend. Hopefully you guys have some fun. And my hope is that you have some ham and you eat some deviled eggs. That's what I'm looking forward to, spending some time with the family. Silas is off on Friday and Silas is off on Monday, and so is Michaela. So excited to spend some time with the family, but these sessions are all about you. And before we get rolling, if you're a guest to Keep It Moving Group Coaching, welcome. Thank you for being here. This is all about keeping it moving towards our dreams, goals, and vision. We have created a space of vulnerability where people share, and we lean into the power of the collective wisdom. It's not one person sharing. My goal is to get thought-provoking conversation going so everyone can have a voice and contribution while we're here together. So with that being said, I'm going to have somebody bring us out on the field. This person's going to share their thoughts, their sentiment, and get this train moving down the tracks. Now, since there's only a couple of us here today, I'm going to go to Aaron. Aaron, you're one of 5 men on the call today, so thank you for being here. Okay, welcome. Aaron and I had a really powerful session yesterday. I saw him in person as well. Aaron, I'm going to have you bring us out on the field today, and this is different. We're going to do things different. I don't want to hear about the message and the sentiment, bring us out on the field. I think we're clear. I want you to share with the group why you believe, what you believe makes you an amazing agent. So that's how we're going to start out today. So walk in your purpose, spit your game, tell people what makes you an amazing realtor. I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Aaron. Chris, no pressure whatsoever. So let's roll, big dog.
No pressure. Well, that is a good question, a good sentiment. I think we should all spend a little bit of time thinking about that because it's uncomfortable to, break your arm, patting yourself on the back on how dope you actually are. But I mean, I truthfully put myself in the shoes of every consumer. I don't care if it's a $200,000 mobile home or a $5 million property. Like, I am that person while I'm helping them. And even afterwards, I care if they're happy about the house. I care. I don't want anybody to have buyer remorse. I don't want anybody to feel like they made the wrong decision. At the end of the day, I want them to say, damn, Aaron really held my hand and walked me through this process as if it was his own process. And I truthfully, that's the easiest way to live your life, is treat everybody the way you want to be treated, do things the way you want it to be done to you. And then I think that makes you an exceptional person. When you're out here on a money grab, just trying to push people into places because it'll fill your pockets, that's bad energy. That's bad energy. That's low vibrations. And I'm on that high vibration, good feel. And that's why I participate in these courses and these coaching trainings. And this team brings out the best in everybody. And so I am a dope ass realtor because I care, because I'm part of a bigger collective group, and because I have years of experience also. So,
all right, guys, let's pause there for a second. Let's give him some love, some light, some positive energy. I tell you, when shit speaks to me, I get a little goosebumps, bro, and I got a little goosebumps from this because I'll tell you what, let's do some role reversal. If you were a consumer right now, thinking about buying or selling a house, going through all the emotions that buyers and sellers experience, what do you think you would feel about the message that Aaron just said about himself? How would you guys feel? Take yourself off of mute. Anybody chime in. How would you feel based off the message he just delivered if you were a consumer?
Like he's got my back.
Like he's got your back? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that he displayed his value and how people are going to experience that value, right? Anything else? What else did you guys hear from his messaging? Take yourself off of mute. Go ahead, Evangeline.
Oh.
Go ahead, Evangeline, that's you.
Okay. What I liked is, the whole no money grab thing, because I think it's easy for people to feel like that, especially some of the rhetoric out there about how realtors just make hella money, this and that, whatever. It's like, no, I'm not here for money. I'm here to actually help you, and I care about you. I think that's good.
Yeah. Listen, there's almost 40 people in here, and it resonated with all of us, Aaron. So when you think about content, you don't look too far. That type of messaging is your core values and how people are going to experience your core values. That's a dope video, man. I felt that. Look at all the people's reaction. I saw them. You're getting thumbs up. You're getting fires. I got goosebumps. So really good stuff. I'm going to go to one more person. Snow Bentley, you threw yourself off of mute really quick. What's your contribution on that part of the conversation? Let's roll.
I think he is very genius and make me feel like there's somebody I can trust.
I mean, that was less than a minute. Snow, I don't think you've ever met Aaron, right? Like, I don't know, Aaron, have you met Snow?
No.
But in less than a minute, she feels that she can trust you. Imagine if that is the type of messaging that you're putting out to consumers, written as well as in video. That's it, bro. That's it. And I'm glad that you did this because I'm glad that I called on you because it is hard, right? We could talk about our kids, we could talk about our family, but sometimes saying, you know what makes me dope? That's hard for us. How many raise a hand if it's hard for you sometimes just to speak about yourself in that way, right? And some of that comes from humility, right? It's you're just humble enough. You're like, oh, I don't want to boast, and I'm only braggadocious about myself. It's hard, and I get that. But man, I gotta tell you, dude, what a great way to start off the call. So, Aaron, thank you for that. We're gonna do more of that, switch it up. So let's talk about some things that are in the market right now that are maybe coming up in your conversations, maybe not. But I gotta know, and let's kind of unpack this. Every single market that we are in, every season, every year, whatever happens, economic, government choices, shifts in policies, up interest rates, down interest rates, inventory is low, inventory is high, all the things, right, are just another excuse for a consumer to hang on to. And we've had these conversations over and over and over again. Well, I have a question, and it's centered around two things. Now, first off is tariffs. Now, I want to know from you guys, has the tariff conversation came up with your consumers, or you felt like that was a challenge? Was it a true objection, or was it just an excuse, right? Or is it just a reason? Like, talk me through that. Also, stocks. We understand that there's some volatility in the stock market, and there has been over the course of the last 30 days. And for some people, maybe they lost a lot of money in the stock market, and now that is a reason why they can no longer afford their down payment. Now, that's a real reason, right? That's not an objection. Objection is something that we can handle, we can unpack, and we can get over. But that's a real reason. But I want to hear from you guys. Has the conversation about tariffs and or stocks came up with any of your dialogue with your consumers over the course of the past couple of weeks? I don't know if it has, but I want to know from you guys if it has, and let's have that conversation. Let's go, Melody. Good to have you on. Thanks for being here. We'll go to Aaron next. So, Melody, start us off. Which one, tariffs, stocks, or a little bit of both?
I've been having the conversation of tariffs with my clients, even if they're not bringing it up, because I know at the end of the day, even if they're not bringing it up, they're thinking it in the back of their minds because they're listening to the media and they're reading the news and articles, and they're probably on social media and Facebook too. So before they have the opportunity to bring it up, I'm bringing it up. And I'm not trying to instill scarcity in them, but I'm positioning it as, I mean, yesterday I was on a listing appointment that I had signed, and I said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's my job to be able to educate you on what's going on in the market today so that I can help you make the most informed decision about your biggest asset. And at the end of the day, you're the one that makes the decision on the price. You're the decision maker. But I want to give you all of the information out there on what is happening in the market so that you can make the best decision. And so I said, there is a lot of volatility in the market right now, and that the tariffs right now are in the back of a lot of buyers' minds. Buyers are very discerning right now. They are, I've had 3 buyers over the last month that have just put their search on pause. And so, right now, more than ever, pricing, marketing, presentation, all of those things are extremely important to how we bring your property to the market and about how we're positioning the product that we're selling. And we have to be extremely transparent. We have to over disclose, and we just have to be very, very upfront about everything as far as pricing goes and any issues with the property because of the volatility in the market and because buyers are becoming very picky and discerning right now. So they really took that to heart, and they really thanked me for being able to explain that to them in a way where maybe they weren't thinking about it before. And so ultimately we had the listing signed. But I don't think that you should be having the conversation of tariffs to try to scare people away. It's really just to try to educate them and let them know this is what we need to do. This is the game plan because of A, B, and C reasons.
Yeah, really good stuff. And quite frankly, I don't believe that the tariffs play that big of a role in the consumer's life. If they have an impending event, we want to stop renting. We're wasting our money. We need a bigger house. We just got a divorce, whatever it is. If they have an impending event, the tariffs don't matter, right? There's going to be something else that comes up in 5 months. I promise you, there's going to be something else that comes up, but you as the professionals are the ones that are helping them see the reality past everything that's going on. For example, I heard something about stocks the other day. I thought it was really good. This guy says, well, I've lost a bunch of money in stocks over the last couple of weeks. And this luxury agent paused this client and said, what would that money have done if it was in real estate? And just pause for a second. What would that money have done if it was in real estate? I want you guys to sit with that for a second, right? Like, what would that money have done if it was in real estate? Is that a hedge against fucking tariffs? Is that a hedge against what is happening with stocks, bonds, annuities, and different types of money market accounts? Isn't real estate a hedge against all that? So what would your money have done if it was in real estate? I just think about how simple that messaging is. And literally, and Antu said that the other day. I just told my friend that the other day. You know, people get short-sighted. And Melody, really, really good stuff. And I'm glad that you're educating at a high level. First off, we need to understand it and also not stay there, right? If we make it a big deal, they're going to make it a big deal. So educating them and then moving on and showing them the light. So Aaron, Chris, let's hear from you. I'm not sure which one you're going on, tariffs or stocks, but let's hear from you. I think it's an important conversation that we have.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of conversations about both. I mean, it's in the news, and so these are things that we're constantly talking about with our clients. Melody articulated what she was talking about beautifully, and I feel like I learned a lot from just what she said. Mine has been a lot simpler. It's just been casual conversations with some clients who are first-time home buyers looking to get in a place. They're really afraid of what the tariffs are doing to their ability to repair things. So it's made us shift a little bit where we're diving a little deeper into the disclosures. You know, if there's wood decks that are rotted out, they're worried that that's going to cost them a lot more money than would have a year ago, right? So it's allowing me to hear them and adjust, pivot to what is going to make them feel comfortable when they're looking to buy a home. So, you know, we're excluding a lot of things that we would have been like, oh, that's not a big deal. You can get this together. Let me put you on with a contractor, right? Now it's like, okay, it has to be a little cleaner. It has to be a little tighter. And then with the stocks, that is a continuing conversation. And like you were saying earlier, there's some people who had their down payment in a portfolio that they were planning on liquidating, and now they're like scared to sell it because it's at a loss. Everybody wants to sell when they're in the green, right? And so that is a thing. But then you also have some people who are not even using their stocks at all. And that's when you have the conversation like, look, you're looking at something that's just it's a paper loss. You know, you're not even using that to buy this house. So stop paying attention to the stocks. And also it gives you the opportunity to say diversify, right? A lot of the people that I'm dealing with are first-time home buyers. They have money in stocks, 401ks, and stuff like that. And it's funny because they'll be getting a gift from a family member or they have money in savings, but they're talking about their stocks. And it's like, that has nothing to do with you buying a house. And quite frankly, if you continue pursuing a house, you're going to diversify. So I oftentimes will bring up diversification and let them know, just like you were saying, a house is one of those assets that is appreciated. It has its pullbacks, but historically speaking, it's always climbing. And the other thing that is important to articulate to them is that your house is not the stock market. It's your house. It's the place that you live. It gains value. It helps you in that regard, but don't lose sight of what you're doing by making everything an investment opportunity, right? You have your stocks, you have your 401ks. They're taking a punch in the gut right now, but they're going to be back. Your house is going to provide you shelter. It's going to provide you stability. It's going to provide you with what the stocks can provide you with, right? And at the end of the day, that's kind of the message that I've been having. And again, they're all casual conversations, but it's more dispelling the fear that the news and the media has created about a lot of this. Because, like you were saying, it's throughout my career in mortgage and real estate, it's been a .com, it's been a 2008. There's always something happening that is going to make everybody freak out and feel like the sky is falling. And we have to kind of temper that fear a little bit.
You know, beautifully said once again, super poetic. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Aaron. Let's look at what Glenn just put in the chat here. There's no tariff on your home. I mean, it's really, really powerful. And I think what Aaron did is a really good example of us being able to listen. When you really listen to a consumer and you stop and you slow down, and it's never about your agenda, what we tend to do is we tend to think too much ahead. Meaning like, oh, okay, I have something from when he says that, I'm going to say this. Like, if you really just sit there and actively listen and process what a consumer is saying, you're going to find, is this a real objection? And a real objection, that means that that's something that you can help them overcome and see a different pathway and form a different narrative. Like Aaron was saying, their down payment was not coming from their stocks. So they had an objection that he was able to say, no, that's not coming from that. Here's a different way, and share the different narrative. Now, a real reason for them not to move forward would be that's where my down payment was coming from. And now my, $17 stock went down to $6. We no longer can afford it because we don't have the liquidity for it. That's a real reason. That's a real reason. And so oftentimes what people are going to do is they're going to give you something, and we have to discern that. We have to decide, is this a true objection, or is this an actual real reason for them not to be able to move forward with purchasing a home? So Aaron, well said. Let's go to D Bledsoe, and then we'll go to Otis, and then we'll shift gears in the conversation. Let's go, D.
Hey, I had clients on the different side of the table of this conversation.
Hold on really quick, D. We're kind of losing your audio. Cut your camera and let's try that one more time.
How about now?
Can you guys hear Demian, or is it cutting out on you too? All right, we'll come back to Demian. Let's go, Otis. What do you have for us? And then we'll go to Ashley. Otis, when you're done, pass it over to Ashley. I'll be right back.
I got it. I love this part. Like, I really like to focus in. I love rebuttals. Like, I feel like where I'm at the point in my game, like I could take anything. As far as, the tariffs and everything, life is full of uncertainty. So I just like to make people feel certain that, everything is a gamble. Life is a gamble. Every day we wake up, it's a gamble that we wake up and shit, we can get hit by a bus, we can get in a car accident. So as far as if you want to go down that rabbit hole and start thinking all those things, tariffs really have no matter right now. Once we get into contract, it might. Like, I get it. If there's a lot of damage in the home, prices are going up. So some of these contractor bills are going to be a lot more because the cost of material, everything's going up. The shipping, I get it. It's a headache. But why not use these things, as you might see, as a disadvantage to our advantages? Those are more reasons for us to get more seller credits. Those are more reasons for this seller to entertain me. Like, hey, Lice, my guy really likes that, but you got to understand, my guy, there's $50,000 worth of damage in this house. That $50,000 bill might be more because of these tariffs. So you have to work with us a little bit and see how we can get this thing to the deal. If it can get done, if it doesn't get done, understand that's one of the reasons why you work with me, because I'm not that agent that's going to force you into something, into some uncertainty. I'm going to make sure if it's not your time right now, we can back up, we can pump the brakes. Now, if we're looking turnkey and everything, there's a lot of opportunity out here if you just take the time to stop being negative and thinking about the tariffs that have no effect. Now, as far as the stocks and bonds and stuff like that, I get it, my guy. You just lost $50,000. Let's not keep wasting any money. Let's take some of that money out, since you're just using it as they call paper money, and let's turn it into some real money. Go liquidate that. Let's get this down payment, my guy, because as you can see, the uncertainty isn't anywhere in these markets, but I can tell you where it is. It's in the real estate market. We accommodate for 9 to 10% of the economy. So you don't think that there's going to be some insurances in place? We're in the Bay Area right now. My girl, Abilene down there, she just put out an amazing video about how you can secure $200,000. Maybe there's always going to be some way that they're going to make sure that we're a lifeline, that we're going to stay afloat in this market. Your home has your comfortability. It has your equity, something that's always going to continue to grow, no matter if the world is out there. As long as there's no atomic bomb going to knock out our whole entire neighborhood, you're as good as gold. So we're going to be able to use that at times where things get uncertainty. Now, that paper money that you're wasting over there, let's make it something that's real. So whatever objection you got from me, whether it's rates, I'm going to go out there and serve you and get you some seller credits to make you make sure you want to play this game and stay in it. If you're not, again, we can pump the brakes because I don't push my business. You can stay in my downline. I can follow up with you. All I ask is we just continue to sign these agreements where I know I work with you, so my continued work doesn't fall on deaf ears, and that you continue to show your loyalty while I continue to work for you, and then we can pick back up. I'm not trying to force you to any type of situations where you don't feel comfortable. That's why working with me, you get that guarantee that you're going to be the boss. I'm going to go at your pace anytime. And if there's any rebuttals that you need me to make sure that you're not feeding into some fear mongering from the media or your aunt who used to be an agent like 30 years ago. I love Auntie too, but Auntie got to chill. You know, she doesn't know current games. She don't know what's going on. So just work with me. I'm a professional. Work with me and my team. We're great. We are the #1 team you want to work with. And at the end of the day, I never want to move forward, Elias, if you're not comfortable. Because if you're comfortable with me, this is going to be a piece of cake and I'll make this the best experience that you've ever had. Simple.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well said, as always. I want you guys to do me a favor really quick. I want you to, in the chat right now, I want to pause. And I want you to put how many years you have been in this business. And I'm going to start mine right now. I'll start the conversation off and I'll put it in there. I want you guys to put how long have you been in the business? I put the year that I started in the business that I actually got my license. So let's hear. So 2024, 15 in finance, 5 in mortgage, 2001. Chris has been in the game 19 years, 2020. All right. So 4 years, 2007. All right, cool. Cool. All right, cool. 2012, 2024. Awesome. Now, since your time in this business, how many times have you had to update the conversations with your consumers? Meaning pandemic, interest rates at 7%, the NAR settlement, Zillow coming into the game in 2005. Like, tell me how many times or situations or circumstances that you've had to adjust your dialogue to match what's going on in our industry. Let's hear it. I want you guys to put it down in the chat or just take yourself off of mute. Tell me how many times you think that you've shifted your conversation based on what's happening in the market. All right, too many to count. 1 billion times. I'd be the richest man if I got paid $1 for each time. All the time, all the time. Too many to count. You guys get what I'm working towards here. No matter what we do, no matter how long you've been in this game, these types of conversations are always going to happen. Always. You are the one that is responsible to shed light. That's our responsibility. And listen, you need to oscillate through different dialogues as the industry changes, as market changes. But shit, were people buying homes at 7.5% interest rates? Were people buying homes in the pandemic? Were people paying, $200,000, $300,000 over asking? Were people in the 80s purchasing homes at an 11, 12% interest rate? Absolutely. Were people buying homes during the NAR settlement? Yes. Were buyers fearful that, oh my God, I have to pay commission? And when we look at what's happened since the 17th of last year, who's paying for most of the commission right now on all the deals that have been logged since the settlement? Who's paying that commission still? Take yourself off mute. I think you know the answer. The sellers are still paying the commission. So all these things that we've all experienced are going to always continue. That's why your dialogue needs to always be on point. No matter what happens in the real estate market, somebody is always going to win. There's always going to be people that find the opportunities and find solutions in any market. That's your opportunity, guys. That's your responsibility. And so really good. I'm glad you guys filled up the chat. Let's go to Ashley. You had some thoughts and contribution on the conversation, and then we'll keep rolling.
Oh, Otis should have mic dropped after that. He had an answer to every single objection you can think of. That was amazing. The one I wanted to point out was what I come across. It's not that people lost their money in the stock market. If I go back and think of all the transactions I've ever done, maybe a small handful was ever sourced primarily from their stocks. It's fear. It's fear that's really making people freeze because they don't understand what's going on, and people are they're afraid of the unknown. So really just going back to basis, and what I'm telling our clients that's working is saying, hey, listen, when people are scared and the stock market's going down, number one, if people go to bonds, it's going to give you a better interest rate. But number two, it's going to give you leverage. In this market, if you're feeling scared, imagine how everyone else is feeling. But guess what happens as a buyer? I can't speak for the seller side, but as a buyer, when people are fearful, that's going to give you leverage. So it's not going to work in every single community. Obviously, rely on your real estate agent to guide you, but in a lot of different areas, that's going to give you leverage for seller credits, get that interest rate lower. My whole pipeline's locked between 5 and 6.5%. Everybody, and half of them have seller credits. So explaining that gets them excited. I usually start the conversation with them fearful and then going, well, I don't know, these high interest rates, what's that going to do to our purchasing power and our mortgage rate? And then they end excited to be one of the few people out there ready to negotiate and take advantage of this time before interest rates drop.
God, well said. Absolutely well said. You guys, we are seeing some amazing things happening in the market right now. And what we are seeing is, I believe, in most of the markets, we can speak for Central Valley, we can speak for this Stockton area and Sacramento, as well as the greater Bay Area. You guys are experiencing this. More homes are coming on the market. More homes are coming on the market. There is way more inventory now than what was a couple months ago. There's more inventory this year compared to last year. You're seeing that across the board. And there was a really cool article that was written by the San Francisco Gate. And I'm going to drop this here in the chat. But this report talks a little bit about, well, let me just kind of preface this. The Bay Area housing market in 2025 shows no signs of slowing as economy fears a surge. And as you read this article and you listen to this article, there's some really, really good information about it. It says that they did this fear gauge, which measures the market's expected unpredictability over the next 30 days, and it hit a 53.76 on April 8th. It's a level unseen since the start of the pandemic, when it briefly surpassed 80. So what that means is that even though consumers are still fearful out there, that number is continuing to go down and continuing to go down. So we know that there's challenges with tariffs, with stocks and things like that. But right now, it's not impacting the consumers and their behavior. Marcelina, you ran a report yesterday that showed how many people have been pre-approved or some. Remember the report you ran yesterday? Can you share with us what that was? And I'm going to wait till Marcelina speaks, and then if she doesn't, I'm going to continue cruising on. But let's go through this. And I'm going to go through this portion, and I'm going to drop the article. It says the Bay Area market right now, and now obviously there's people on the call that are not in the Bay Area. I want to respect everybody's time. As of April, listings have increased across the Bay, and we are seeing this over and over and over again. Through San Francisco saw minimal growth per this MLS. The amount of active incoming students in San Francisco rose 7% year over year, and just 27.5% of those listings were single-family homes. By comparison, in the inner Bay, defined as cities as Oakland, Berkeley, Piedmont, Alameda, Emeryville, and Albany, Kensington, El Cerrito, and Richmond, active listings are up 48% year over year, by far the highest they have been in April the past 4 years, according to MLS data. Okay. So this is important for you guys. I believe buyers have more opportunities right now. You guys, as listing agents, have more opportunity to go and grab the opportunities for new listings that people are selling. This is April. This is springtime. This is when you get momentum in our market, and we're seeing it across the board. And so capitalize on this. Capitalize on what is happening right now, because I think that we're in a very, very, very fortunate position right now in the Bay Area, as well as our surrounding markets. Let's go, Deep Leto.
Yeah, Kenny just posted on his story, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he was at a seminar and they were basically saying how it'll be a buyer's market because there are so many listings that are coming up, and it'll be such big inventory that it'll be the reverse. Buyers will have too many choices. But he also was saying, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong on the numbers, he was saying we're like 75% buyer side. So the way that's going to affect us is exponential, because we're helping so many buyers. Once we have the inventory, it's going to go crazy. So, and then just to finish the thought earlier, I had a client that was in contract last week. She's an economist, and she wanted to hurry up and close because she was fearful that what happened in 2010 might happen again. As JJ suggested last week, that if the banks run out of money, she wouldn't be able to get her home. So she wanted to hurry up and close because of tariffs in the stock market.
Hold on real quick. Miranda, you got to mute yourself. All right, continue cruising on, bro.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to add those 2 points in. So, some people might be fearful on one side, but others are fearful on a whole another reason, but you just have to find the logic in between the both.
Absolutely. I'm going to share this with you guys really quick, and I've hit some of the information here. So right now, our company has 89 pending units. And as you can see here, if I just start out at the top, look at this category here. Buyer. We have some sellers, obviously, but the majority, 75% plus of all the people that are in contract right now, which is the highest amount of pendings that we've had in probably a quarter and a half, 89 properties right now pending, 75% plus of those are buyers. So that does 100% work in our favor because we're a buyer heavy team. So there's some huge opportunities in out there right now. Let's check out what Marcelina put in the chat. In February 2025, about 676,000 new single family homes were sold in the US, marking a 1% increase from the previous month at a 5.1% rise year over year. Looking ahead, experts anticipate mortgage rates to remain steady in the near term with potential easing later in the year. However, waiting for low rates might not be advantageous if home prices continue to rise or inventory tightens. Really, really good stuff. I would grab that and make sure that you have that information. That way you can use that in communication with your consumers. So you guys, what are you seeing right now? And I wrote some questions. What are you seeing about inventory? What's it telling you in those markets that you're serving and you're showing homes? And what's been your communication with your buyers, letting them know that there's more inventory, more opportunities? Like, tell me what the inventory is saying to you in the markets that you represent, because we all represent different parts of the Bay Area and beyond. What are you guys experiencing? What is the inventory levels in your area telling you right now? I want to hear from you guys. Take yourself off of mute, throw your hand up, get involved in this conversation because your dialogue is super, super important. As always, who has some contributions? Let's go, Ashley, and let's get some other people in the queue. I need 3 more people to throw their hand up.
Okay, while we're waiting, I'll just tell you my vantage point. I had a pipeline in December and January of 20 pre-approvals, and no one was going in contract. It was like crickets. December, January was a super slow month, and then February is just trickling around. I had 11 or 12 go into contract this month. So it was like the inventory opened up and then bam, it wasn't new people that I was just meeting, maybe 1 or 2 of them, but the rest of them was people who were just pent up that couldn't find the house that they liked, or they weren't wanting to go out, or whatever it was. Something changed this month and those old ones all got into contract. So I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing, but that was broad over all over the Bay Area. And it was definitely eye-opening because there is so much fear out there, but purchase volume is still up and applications are still up. So we just have to educate the ones that are fearful and keep them going.
That's right. Let's go, Brandy. What's your thoughts and contribution? Thank you, Ashley. And you guys, listen, I'm going to pause for a second. I need 2 more people that have not spoke already to throw their hand up in the queue. And the question to you is, what does the inventory in your specific markets tell you about where we are? I want to hear from you guys. I shouldn't have to pull teeth to get hands raised in a group coaching session. So I'm going to pause for a second. Are we going to sit here weird? And I can just stare at you. I need 1 more hand, brave soul, to throw their hand up. Other than Brandy, other than Chris, we got it. Thank you, Heather. Let's go, Brandy. What do you got for us?
Okay, for my recent buyers in Oakley, they are so for this house, for the inventory and for what they're looking for, it was slim. And this particular house has already been on the market. And so as she's searching, I mean, this buyer is on all the searches every hour. Like I didn't even really have to do anything because she's like, no, I'm on every hour. And I was like, okay, well, you go on with your bad self. But when I'm searching, I'm like, and talking with her, I'm like, she's like, yeah, it was like one weekend they went to all these open houses. And then the next, she's like, it's like crickets. And we had already placed an offer on this house. And they countered us, and then, and then that was it. They were like, no, we're good. And so then the wait was, and she realized like all these other houses, they were so particular on the criteria. And houses either going off the market, like there was one house that they even liked that they wanted to go see, and then it went off the market. And so I called that agent, and the agent's like, oh, they're doing upgrades, they have a bottom line they want to meet, so we're going to come back in the summer, and this is their bottom line, so if your buyers can reach that, then so be it. And so then we went back and placed another offer on the original home because she was like, I need my money to go somewhere. And we had that conversation on putting it in real estate. So for that inventory and this particular home, for their criteria, matched pretty much everything. And we were able to, me and that agent had clear transparency, clear communication, going back and forth. So I think in this type of market, that's really important for inventory, on having those conversations. Like me and that agent were just like, hey, no BS. What is it your sellers want and what is it your buyers want? And I mean, we came way under asking. So, and we were like, do you want to make this deal happen or not? Do you want to have another open house or not? So, I mean, that's what happened. I mean, that house was listed for, I think, a little over 860, and we offered 815 and got it accepted with 20K in seller credits. So
I love this. Absolutely gangster. I love the conviction. I love the assertiveness. Really, really good stuff. I appreciate your sentiment and appreciate your contribution. Let's go, Chris B, and then we're going to go over to Heather. So Chris, what do you got for us, big dog? What is the inventory levels telling you about the market right now in your area in Sacramento? Let's roll.
I'm seeing the more established neighborhoods. It hasn't picked up too much, but I'm seeing the more lower tier neighborhoods that had a lot of investment properties turn liquidate, and seeing a lot of homes coming up in the market in the like $100,000 to $500,000 range. So there's a lot more opportunity for first-time home buyers, but the more established areas still fairly low. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay, I love it. Let's go to Heather. Heather, so it's cool because everybody that just contributed is in completely different market. So Heather, what are you experiencing? Let's roll.
It's definitely a buyer's market more now. We're getting a lot more inventory on the market. A lot of the prices right now, just steady. We were seeing a bit of a decrease like earlier in the year as far as home prices, but they're steadily evening out. A lot more buyers are coming onto the market. So people are getting a little less scared and uneasy, which is weird because of everything going on. But a lot more activity in the market around here. A lot more people are getting out there and making moves, and we're getting a lot more houses on the market. We've had really low inventory, and home prices have increased, I guess, 4.1% from last year. So things are picking up around here, which is great. We need that.
I love it. And thanks for being up so early, thinking that our session was this morning. I appreciate the text message.
Yeah. What's going on? And I stayed too for 6 minutes just to be safe. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere.
I love it. Listen, you guys, I think that social proof is going to play a big factor when you're having conversations with your potential sellers right now. A lot of sellers might have wanted to hold out a few months ago. Well, now social proof says that, yeah, Mr. Johnson, over the course of the last couple of weeks, there's been X amount of houses. So we know that there's more inventory. When you use stats like Marcelina drop, that there's more buyers in the market. So yes, there's more inventory. However, there's more buyers looking for opportunities to live in this neighborhood. And so leverage social proof. Social proof is like, oh, they did it. Okay, it makes me feel more comfortable why we're going to do it. So leverage social proof. And also, I want everybody on this call and everyone that will see this in the future, become an expert at reviewing material facts. So how do you do that? you look at your disclosures, you take disclosures, you put them in ChatGPT, have ChatGPT do a whole analysis for you and do a detailed breakdown of what is in these disclosures, and then do your homework. Talk to the people in your circle that are contractors, that are handymen, that know and understand how to do these jobs. What is on the action items, and what do those action items actually mean from a cost standpoint? And what are these consideration items? And if we were going to replace the roof over the course of the next couple of years because it's at its life expectancy, what does that potentially run us? Like, become an expert at these things. And the only way that you're going to do it is by sitting there and doing the tedious research. But I promise you, those are the types of conversations that your consumers are really going to value and be like, wow, you know, Ashley really knows her stuff. Kelly really knows her stuff. Gabriella really knows her stuff because she's broken it down. And so those are things that I want you guys to become experts on if you aren't already. Let's go over to Blessing. Blessing, what's your thoughts, contribution on the conversation? Let's roll.
Just going off of what Chris just mentioned is that a lot of investors, they're probably the ones that are panicking the most with the volatility in the stock market and going ahead and liquidating assets. I was on a listing appointment last week or the week before, and it was for a gentleman who was trying to reallocate his assets to be able to make moves. So if we think about the fact that investors are probably the ones that are reacting, and if they let go of, we know that their sweet spot was that 3-2 under 500, under 600 single family home. If they're liquidating those, that means that those first time buyers really do get a chance to get their foot in the door. And if I think of the 3 clients or 3 homes that we were looking at last week, all of them were investors that were getting rid of properties, and my first time buyers had a chance to get in. So that could be something going all the way full circle to the beginning of the conversation, is that if we are educating our clients on, yes, the market is volatile, but if you know what you need and you're ready to take advantage of it, as the rest of, you know, the investors who, in my opinion, shouldn't be holding on to these properties are getting scared and letting go of it, it's an opportunity for them to get exactly what they need as buyers.
Wow, well said. Well said. I'm absolutely loving this conversation. Who else has anything that they want to share about the market? What does the inventory currently tell them about the state of their areas that they serve, or anything else you guys want to share that you're experiencing in the market right now? And use this opportunity to share. Also, if you're brand new and you really haven't had this type of dialogue, I promise you, if you raise your hand, you get involved here, it's going to make that conversation with your consumers even more easy. So anybody else want to go? Take a stab at it, share with us what they are experiencing in the market. Is that a half a hand, Gabrielle, or no hand? All I say is this.
Okay, I'll share, but I knew I just got my license 2 weeks ago, but I do I'm hearing you guys. Sorry, and I feel like what I'm seeing, because I haven't had a listing yet or anything, but I haven't been out there, but even around my neighborhood, I do see more homes are have for sale, versus in 2022 when I bought my home, I feel like it was a seller's market, the sellers had the upper hand, versus now I do see more homes being listed, and yeah, I do feel like it's more of the buyer's market.
All right, so Gabriella, let's have a conversation. When you bought your home in 2022, was there any part of you or your family's, thoughts that maybe we're overpaying for this house? Was that part of the conversation at all?
Definitely. Yeah. But going back to the conversation earlier, my coworkers and my friends, when I was telling them I wanted to go into real estate, most of them are not homeowners, and they're like, "Oh, I really want to buy a house, but I'm not ready." And I said, "You're never going to be ready." Yeah, I wasn't ready, when I bought my home, but it just takes the first step to talking to someone and then running your numbers, seeing where you're at and what you need to get to the amount that you want. Just taking the first step. You're never going to be ready.
Listen, you guys, she's a brand new agent. Let's give her some love, some light, some positive energy for throwing her hand up. And how many people think that she's prepared to start talking to consumers and put some deals on the board? I could feel it. Hey, listen, I've been around a lot of agents, I can hear certain things. So Gabriella, that sounds really good. And I think that when you in your own experience, because where did you buy your home at in 2022? What area of the Bay?
So in Vallejo, I live in Vallejo. So I bought it in Vallejo exactly 3 years ago.
All right, and the Vallejo market has changed significantly, correct?
Yeah.
On an average, percentage wise, or if we could talk dollar amount, how much equity have you grown in the last 3 years?
And see, that's what I haven't looked into too much because even when we haven't refinanced the house or had it like revalued, but I know when we bought the house, well, I think we paid a lot for what, because we had to remodel the whole home.
Everyone
My
froze on
husband,
me. I'm sorry.
oh, sorry, did I freeze? Oh, so what I'm saying is, I haven't like revalued the home, but I'm sure it's gone up a lot because my husband had to remodel the whole house. Like when we bought the house, the minute you hit the wall, it broke. So my husband had to remodel it, and it was not cheap. It was not a cheap home, but the value of the home was high then. But I'm pretty sure if I were to get it like reassessed, it would go up a lot more than when I bought it.
Well, yeah, I definitely know that the value of that home is way higher than it was in
Yeah, because
2022.
on Zillow it shows a number, but I know it's not right because we haven't had it. I think it's going based off what it was when I bought it, but it has gone up some. But I know if I were to have it revalued, reassessed with all the improvements we've done, it would be a lot
Yeah,
more.
for sure, for sure. Let's go over, Heather, you had a hand up, and then we're going to start shifting gears in the conversation. Blessing, I made you a co-host on purpose. Let's go, Heather. What do you got for us? And thank you, Gabriella, for being brave, for being strong, and being bold. Let's roll, Heather.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is just being out and about in the community and, oh, you're a realtor, and people just complaining just about the economy in general, about real estate, or just if you have a listing and you put it out on social media and they're like, how do you live with yourself? Oh my God, that price for so, and you're like, shoot, I don't make the rules, bud, but that's the kind of thing is you have these conversations and then you just kind of get into it like, well, well, do you think that prices are going to get better? Do you think rent's going to get better? Like I feel you. Like I empathize. Like I'm happy I bought my house back in 2014. Thank God I did. But here's the thing. Do you think it's going to get better? I mean, do you think like 10 years from now that you're going to see the same house and then it's going to be cheaper? And that's kind of the conversations that you have to have is like, maybe it'd be a good time for you to talk to a lender to get on a financial plan, to get yourself established, to get yourself on the path to own a home before it gets worse. If you're this displeased with the market now, I can assure you that 5 years from now or 10 years from now, it's not going to be any better. Because
I love this.
And that's the kind of the thing. And it's like, it's not that I don't agree with you. It's not like I think it's great, but it is what it is,
You know what? I absolutely love the sentiment because if we were just able to look at a consumer like we would our friends and like, really, are you going to be that dumb and that short-sighted? Like, it's like literally that simple. Like, Aaron, bro, really? Like, think about this long-term, what your family's going to have. Convince you that buying real estate is the best thing that you could possibly ever do with your money? Do I need to have, or like it's just like, how you have this honest conversation with your consumers? I'm gonna go to Lisa because my screen keeps freezing. Lisa, you're up next. All I see is Aaron's big face smiling. Frozen.
How's it going? So I had an interesting conversation with a younger couple a few weeks ago, and they were talking about home prices being really high. And I said, yes, I understand. Affordability is definitely a challenge for a lot of folks right now. And they alluded to they're waiting for the market to crash. And I thought, because they looked fairly young, and I said, do you mind me asking why you think that? Does this have anything to do with the Great Recession? Because I know they didn't live through it financially. They were probably like maybe 10 years old, maybe. And he said, yeah. He said, yeah, I saw what happened. My parents lost their house. And I said, do you realize that there are so many differences in this market compared to then, and how many changes within the lending guidelines that have completely changed, that we probably will never see a housing crash like that based off of the same criteria. I said, so if that's your reason for pushing pause, I really encourage you to sit down with the lender. And he was like, oh, okay. And it just, I could see the light go off in his eyes, and he took my card. He's like, okay, we're not ready right now. We're living with, some family, trying to save up. But we will get in contact with you when we're ready to make a move.
Yeah, and here's the thing, we're not going to win every single conversation, but oftentimes they don't even know why they're saying this. They just think that they need to say it. Right? It's similar to having a conversation about EXP with somebody. Oh, no, not EXP. Do you even know everything that this company has to offer and the benefits and the beauty of this company and community? So it's, oftentimes people have already this preconceived notion that has no validity. Like that to me is an objection. It's not a real reason why they shouldn't move forward with real estate. So good stuff. Let's close out with Gary Archer. Gary Archer, you're going to be our last contribution. We're going to wrap sesh.
As you know, Elias, very new to this. I don't have any deals in process yet. But yesterday, after we had the AI training, I was downtown Oakland, had a conversation with about 6 or 7 guys, and we were talking about real estate because, oh, Gary, you're doing real estate now. So they were kind of trying to figure it out because they're from other industries, and they're like, man, we rent, or I do this, and I don't, just all the objections we've been hearing today, right, about what's going on. And I started explaining to them the value of owning a house money-wise at first, right? And I seen everyone understood that part. And I said, no, let me just cut the chase. If you want to rent, your rent's going up for the rest of your life. You buy a house, if you could afford that mortgage, it's only going to go down. Like it's going to be that, and your house is going to be worth more. More importantly, not money. Your little daughter, she wants to paint her room pink. Guess what you have to tell her? Sorry, honey, I can't do it. The landlord said no. If you owned your house, you'd put her in the car, you go down to Home Depot and you get the paint and you paint it. Your little son wants a dog. Oh no, sorry, son, can't do it. The landlord won't let me. That's what you're dealing with when you're renting something. You're dealing with someone else's rules on your life. So are we living? Are we living? Or are we dying?
I love it. I love the excitement. I love the passion, and I cannot wait for you to be live. You guys, we're going to pause there. We're going to start wrapping session. I want to say thank you for all of your contributions. And I also want to encourage you, if you're that person that always comes to group coaching and you lay back in the cuts and you never get involved in the conversation, I want you to get involved not only in the conversation, but the experience of sharing, the experience of taking yourself off of mute, having your camera on, the experience of public speaking, the experience of having your voice heard in such a large platform. Like there's so much power in that experience, right? Learning is active, right? So if you're somebody that's on this call and perpetually you never contribute, I want to encourage you. I want to push you. And I want to be that person that says, you know what? We got you. I'm here to support you. And this is how we all grow and get better. This is coaching. If we were out on a field right now, I would say, Blessing, run, and I'm going to throw you the ball. All right. Now you're up, Aaron. Now you're up, Gabriella. What are you going to, you're not just going to fucking sit there. I see you. I'm going to throw you the ball and it's coming. So you better run. So you guys, so we're going to pause there and I want to leave you guys with this quote. And I think that it's applicable to the market. But I think it's really powerful. It says, if you don't challenge yourself daily, the world will do it for you. If you don't challenge yourself daily, the world will do it for you. If you don't discipline yourself, then the market will discipline you. And I think that it's really powerful to think about it this way. Yeah, we're going to have challenges, but if I'm unprepared and I'm not saying, bring on all this information, I'm going to have a challenge of just practicing articulation. That's one challenge. I'm going to own that shit. I'm going to take it on. Or I'm just going to let consumers tell me these things. And the challenge is I don't have an answer. And now the challenge is I'm not even going to get close to having a conversion with that person. What? You guys have to choose in this business. And so if you don't challenge yourself daily, the world will do it for you. If you don't challenge yourself daily in this market, the market will do it for you. And I want you guys to think about that as we're growing and as we're taking our life and health and business to the next level. So let's get a couple key takeaways before we head out. Ivana, one key takeaway from our time together today. Let's go to you. Let's hear from you. What do you got for us?
One, just one. Can I go last?
No, hit us with whatever you got.
I mean, I don't know. Always be prepared to talk about what's going on in the market. Yeah, and even though if the clients don't ask and they don't walk in with that question, like I believe it was Melody who said that we need to educate them and we need to be ready to talk about it. So yeah, let's say that would be my one key takeaway.
Love it. Thank you, Ivana, for contributing. Cece, I know that you tried to get yourself off of mute earlier. Do you want to try again? Give us one key takeaway. I know it's a challenge sometimes on the phone. All right, cool. Gabriella, one of our newest guests. Gabriella, what's one key takeaway from our time together today?
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Ooh. Goddamn right, man. You'll hear that time and time again on this call. So, Gabriella, I appreciate it. We're rooting for you. Looking forward to meeting you later on today. And Evangeline, I'm going to have you bring us home. One key thought, one key takeaway as we wrap sesh. Let's roll.
It doesn't matter the market. We're stellar agents, and we're gonna get out here and get shit done.
That's right. It has nothing to do. Your success has nothing to do with the market. It has everything to do with the actions that you choose or choose not to take in this game. The market does not dictate your success. You want it, it's there for you. I promise you, there are people that are winning. Kuhn, who is a brand new agent, has sold $12 million worth of real estate this year, and we're in April. We're in April. You think that he complains about the market? The fuck? Find a way. Find a way. It's never about the market. They're not responsible. The market's not responsible. I'm going to blame the market why I can't feed my family? Boo-boo. I'm going to find a way no matter what. Thank you guys for all your contributions. Appreciate you. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and have an amazing day. Peace.